Welcome back to the Kirk Miller podcast. I'm going to assume that if you've tuned into today's episode, it's because you are stuck in some way with your health, fitness, or body goals, or as a result of not being in control of your health, fitness, and body goals, it's impacting how you feel. As the title of today's podcast is The Brutal Truth About Why You're Still Stuck. I'm going to be sharing in this episode very concisely and straight to the point, 3 actionable tips that can override any current frustration you may have and also prevent you from self-sabotaging with your health and fitness goals, or more specifically, your habits towards your health and fitness goals, if that hasn't happened already. At the time of this episode, we're exactly 4 weeks into 2025, and it's been brought to my attention on a couple of podcasts that I've been on as a guest in the last few weeks that it was in fact National Quitters Day on the second Friday of January. The stats for people quitting, I think it was something ridiculous, like 98% of people who have set an intention to hit a certain health and fitness goal by the second Friday of the year, they've down tools and they've quit. Now, I'm going to assume that if you've tuned into this episode, that you don't want that to happen, and that being in shape, being healthy, being energized is important to you. And I'm also going to assume, if you've absorbed any of my content podcasts in the past, that you want lasting change and you want consistency with not just how you look, but how you feel, how you perform week to week, month to month, year round. And that's fucking impossible if we self-sabotage with our habits that look after us on a week to week, month to month basis. So I encourage you to listen to the end till the end of this podcast. As for me, that the last point of the 3 that I'm going to share, I think, is the most important and one of the biggest reasons people procrastinate and don't follow through on what they said they would do on a consistent basis. So if you're stuck, one of the first things you could do to get unstuck, or even if you're not stuck, but to prevent being stuck, the first thing you should do, really, really simply, is have 3 non-negotiable daily habits that you establish in your calendar on a daily basis and you commit to, and more importantly, that are easy to do to build momentum or rebuild momentum. Example, and I'm going to share with you, if you are, as an example, you're overweight, doesn't make you feel good, affects your energy, affects your confidence. I want to share with you 3 examples of habits that I think are pretty universal, that if you did these 3 things, I guarantee you would create momentum if you're stuck right now, and by default would make an immediate dent in your fat loss, your weight loss journey, and how you feel about yourself and your body. First one, as an example, is literally focus on a simplified but realistic step target. That is more than what you're currently doing. We've got data on years and years of client success stories of people who have dropped weight versus those who haven't. And if you're trying to accelerate your weight loss, aim for 12 to 15k steps per day average. If you can hit 15k, great. And you can include your running within that if you find it hard to get that through walking. But I think that as a daily habit is going to make an immediate impact on your weight loss. It's going to push the threshold of calories you can consume Because very simply put, the less you move, the less you can eat. And I think most people have got a consistent challenge with food management and food volume. And if this is something that resonates with you, you're never going to drop weight until you move more. So you carrying your body weight around on a daily basis is going to help you do that. So maybe commit as one of your daily habits, as one of your daily non-negotiables. Stretch yourself in terms of how much you move. Because if you move the same, you'll look the same and likely weigh the same. Or it might be going the other way if you can't control your food. Okay. Secondly, really, really simple. Drink more water. Most people who are fat and overweight, they don't drink enough. If you hit 12 to 15K steps a day, drank, say, 3.5 litres of water upwards, 1, you'd be less hungry. 2, you'd manage your food volume more efficiently. And you'd likely drop more water as a result of drinking more water. Thirdly, is sleep. I've done shitloads of podcast episodes hammering the importance of sleep. But for many entrepreneurs, business owners, people in high power positions, certainly with kids, in a relationship with a family, they don't sleep enough. And I know that's a bit of a blanket generic statement, but maybe set as one of your non-negotiable habits of the 3, get into bed 30 minutes earlier than what you're currently doing. What would that buy you back more in terms of efficiency, productivity, and more emotional control as a result of having more energy because you're more well slept or more better slept than what you currently have been doing? So just to recap, you don't have to do these 3 habits. You could maybe align 1 to training, 1 to food. But I think these 3 would really help get you unstuck, that are really, really easy to not only establish, but also measure. You can measure categorically whether or not you've hit a certain step target on a given day. You can categorically measure on a daily basis how much water you've drank in a given day. And you can also measure if you've gone to bed at a certain time on a given day. If you did these 3 things, I guarantee you'd go from stuck to unstuck straight away, and build that as those 3 things as a daily habit. Because all it takes to get you unstuck is to create momentum. Because when you create momentum, it shifts how you feel about yourself because you're seeing progress. Just like in business, when you see success, you want more of it, and it's easy then to condition it and raise the bar. But we need to start somewhere. Secondly, I spoke a couple of weeks ago on the importance of environment. But if you're stuck, audit your current environment. Remove one thing that's holding you back, that's triggering you. It might be a food, it might be a certain person, a certain influence right now. But if you're trying to get unstuck, what is the one thing that you could remove immediately that's consistently in your calendar, that's getting in the way of how healthy you want to be, how you want to feel, and the energy that you want to operate with? What needs to go, or who needs to go? Be fucking ruthless with it. If that's the thing or the person standing in the way of your 2025 goals. Thirdly, stop overthinking. Progress beats perfection. So many people right now are full of shit with their 2025 intentions. They think they're taking action by researching the best coach, the best program. It's bullshit. I'm yet to see anyone transform talking about what they're going to do, or going round in circles looking at the best magazine and the best social media page to follow. You will never change from talking about what you're going to do or waiting for the perfect conditions. Never. Ever, ever, ever. The amount of times we have had conversations with people reaching out on messages or on calls where they say, oh, they've got a lot on. It's an excuse. If you're an entrepreneur or business owner, high performer in some way, when will you never have a lot on? When you have a family, you run a business, or you're involved in working within a successful business, when was the last week that you didn't have a lot on? Rather than avoid it, learn how to manage you, your health and your habits and your lifestyle around a schedule that's always going to have a lot on. Otherwise, that thing that you keep saying you're going to do, or the reason you say it's important to be healthy, at some point will become a bigger problem and you'll be forced to take action. If it's not costing you now, it will in the future. And if you are an overthinker, the question you need to ask yourself right now is, if I feel the same, look the same, in 12 months' time, who else and what else will be impacted? Do I really want another year feeling the way I do? And who else is this hurting? What will I not have achieved at the end of the year? Other than money, me not looking the way I want to, what else am I losing out on? Where is it costing me other than in my pocket? So stop overthinking. If you're a fucking high performer, don't overthink. The reason you've achieved success in your business is because you were decisive on the outcome you wanted and you did whatever the fuck it took to get there. You did whatever it took. And if you've got evidence that if you have a target, a purposeful goal, a genuine meaning behind it, and people that will benefit in your life, if you've done it in business, you can do it with health and fitness. But stop waiting for these perfect conditions. So many people who are overweight and fat because they eat too much food have the time, energy and resources to do this, but then bullshit themselves that they don't have the time or the money to invest in themselves and their health. What is it costing you eating out more than what you want to, or ordering more food when you eat out than you want to? What is that costing you in your body weight, in your bank balance across a calendar year? The problem isn't going to get moved away until you change what you do. Now, I know this is very direct, but whether you're a client of mine or not, sometimes people need to hear the truth, especially if you're repeating patterns and cycles that are not serving the person you're trying to become, the health you wish to live with, and the people that you keep saying you need to be healthy for. If you've got kids, they're currently copying what you do, not what you say. Would you be happy if your kids followed in your footsteps with your habits right now? Because I've got shitload of evidence to suggest that if you are overweight and unhealthy and have bad habits, your kids will copy you. I've seen it over and over again with clients. You only have to look down at the body shape of a child, certainly if they're overweight, to look up at their parent and they're likely the same. Do you really want that if you're overweight? Because they will mirror everything you do, not just what you say. So just to recap, if you're stuck, focus on 3 daily non-negotiable habits that are clear, that are measurable, that are easy to stick to. Audit your environment. What is the one person or one thing that needs to go right now? Not tomorrow, right now. Thirdly, stop overthinking. Perfection doesn't exist. The perfect conditions don't exist. Learn to manage you when you've got a lot on, because then when you do have more smoother conditions, a lot less on, you'll find it so much easier to implement great habits if you can do it even when you are time poor, a lot on, with lots of stress and lots of things on in your day-to-day calendar. And if you need help with this, you know where I am. If you can't handle straight talk or people who will just tell you how it is, then I'm probably not the coach, and Built to Last probably isn't the program for you. But if you want a coach and a service that will cut through the bullshit and genuinely cares about the money you invest, then we can help you. You see, if you check out any of our results, the one thing that people will say is we cut through the BS. We tell you what you need, not what you'd like to hear. And we make sure it complements the things we're asking you to do, complements your lifestyle. Okay, so reach out to me, my team, my website, the link's in this podcast. And that's it. It's 4 weeks into the year. If January hasn't gone quite your way, don't fold because you've had an average month. There's still 11 months to correct that. And where do you want to be at the end of the year? And are your current actions and behavior likely to take you there? If the answer is no, do something about it. Over and out. I'll see you next time.